Thank you for renting from Jackson Hole Adventure Rentals. This is a walkthrough of the Forest River 23 DBH, which is a 26-foot bunkhouse with a slide. It is a 26-foot box length and a 29-foot total length, which is tongue to bumper, with a slide on the driver's side. We will be here to help you hook up the trailer and answer any questions at that time, but we do ask you to familiarize yourself with this video, as it will walk you through all of the functions on the outside of the trailer and the inside of the trailer, and you can reference it again at any time. We do ask that you treat the equipment as your own. We do ask that you think 10 feet above you and 30 feet behind you when you're driving, that you take wider corners so you don't hit a curb, for example, that when you're traveling through tight spaces that you go through as straight as possible, that you watch out for any trees so you don't hit the trailer with the tree while traveling, and that any steep drives going, say, in and out of a gas station, for example, that might have a big dip where you might hit the front of the trailer or the back of the trailer. So now as we go through the outside and inside, and we'll go to there. Okay, we're here on the outside of the trailer, and the first thing I want to note is the number one damaged item is the awning. So again, always think 10 feet above you. If there's any trees where you're going or any structures or anything like that, just make sure you have the clearance to clear the roof. You'll need another 2 feet to clear the AC. So again, really think 12 feet above you. But again, if you have any, park strip trees where you're going, or trees at the campground or so on, you just want to make sure that you can clear those. So again, if someone has to get out and spot it, do that, because that's a lot better than having to pay for a new awning. So just again, also watch for the awning. And if you are at a campground and you are leaving for the day, do not leave the awning out, because some wind can come by or inclement weather or something like that and break the awning that way too. So again, if you're away from the camper or asleep or so on, don't have the awning extended. So first thing is the storage area here on the side. Alright, one thing to note with the stabilizing jack, so this is the crank, the stabilizing jack is here, it's on all four corners. You level the trailer first, and then you stabilize it with these stabilizing jacks. Do not level the trailer with these jacks. They are not intended to level, you will bend them that way. So again, you level front to back with the tongue jack there, and then you level side to side with these leveling blocks. So you put these leveling blocks down on one side of the trailer, and you pull the trailer up, and it will level the trailer side to side. And then you can use the chocks to chalk all four wheels so it stays there. And then you put, once it's all settled and good to go, leveled, then you go ahead and use the stabilizing jacks here and you stabilize it. Going to the front here, you got your dual propane tank. You do have a hatch on top here, but really the easiest way to do this is just take the cover off like that. So now you got your tanks here, you turn them on, and then right here it will tell you if there's propane flowing or not. So this goes green. If there's not propane flowing, this will be red. And then you have a little arrow here. So right here there's an arrow, it's pointing to this tank, which it means it's pulling propane from this tank. In theory, there has an auto switch over, so if this tank runs out, it should auto switch over to this one. I can't guarantee you that, but that's how it's supposed to work, but you can switch it to the other tank pretty easily by going that way. If for some reason something happened, like maybe this pigtail here is leaking and you can smell it and you know this is leaking, then what you'd want to do is just use this one, leave this propane tank closed, and then if you ran out of propane on this side, you just take this tank off and swap it to this side. Again, not the most ideal, but that is a little trick that you can do in case there is something like that that does happen. Going around the side here, this is the outside access to the water heater, and I'll show you the control panel on the inside. But one thing is that sometimes there can be errors, like it can fail and the control panel will give you an error. It also beeps. The way to clear that is you can turn this on and off. So you would turn this off and then turn it back on. That's going to clear the code. So one common thing that happens is that these are designed to, if they sense freezing temperatures, they will ignite to keep themselves from freezing. but if you have the propane off, they can't ignite. So then they give an E1 code, which is no propane, and then the control panel beeps, and so you have to come out here and turn the propane on, and then you have to turn this off and turn it back on to clear that code. So you can shut this. Just be mindful of this little grommet here because it sometimes gets caught on the exhaust. Again, you've got your other stabilizing jack on the outside. If you have cable at a campground or something, you can plug it in there. You do have sensors, pressure sensors on these tires here. So this little thing is green, which means the pressure is good. But if your tire went flat or whatever and you couldn't tell by looking at it, then you can tell by this it will go red. So that's kind of nice there. If you do want to drain the fresh water tank, there's a drain right there. And there's also an overflow. So if you can see back there, there's a little hose next to that drain. If you are filling the tank, the freshwater tank, and water starts coming out of that, that means it's overflowing. So you can just stop filling at that point. But that's what that is. And so if you've got it full and you go somewhere and you notice there's water leaking out of there, it's just because you got a full tank. Going over here, speaking about the freshwater connection, that's right here. So that's how you'd fill the fresh water tank. Now you do have a city water connection, and so if you're at a campground or a house or something like that, that's where you can connect the hose to the fresh water. This way, if you are connected to this and you have pressurized water here, you do not need to use the water pump on the inside because it uses the pressure from the source. Down here you've got your 30 amp connection. So you do have this cord here, which is in the storage area also, and then this adapter is in the plastic bin above the sink, so you might not need this adapter. If you are at a campground, you have 30 amp connections, you're just gonna plug in with this. If you are going to like a smaller generator that only has a 15 amp plug, then you can use this to go from 30 down to 15 amp. So, and again, you'd plug in there and then run the adapter that way. This is an outside shower. Just ask that you don't use it. It's really not that functional. You do have the outside light here. It's controlled with a light switch on the outside. It only works at night. Must have a sensor on it. You do have outside storage. This is the storage area underneath the bunks. So it's some more storage there. Your sewer connection is here. So on your right side is your black tank. That is your toilet. On your left side is your gray tank. That's your shower and your sinks. So again, you drain black first and then gray. Going around the outside of the trailer here, you do have your full-size spare here. You do have your backup camera right there. Again, the backup camera works off of a connection to your phone. You download an app. It's something we can't support, but it is really cool if you can get it to work, and it'll do more on the inside of the trailer when I show you how that works. Here is your black water tank flush. So you would connect a hose to this while you're flushing out your black water tank if you are emptying the black water. This is a door that goes directly into the bathroom. So that's that door, which is kind of nice if you don't want to go all the way through the trailer to get to the bathroom if you're in a rush or something. You got your outside speakers here. You got other outlets. You have another cable connection here. This is the exhaust for your heater, so don't touch that if your heater's on. Again, these outlets are 120 volts, so they are going to only work off of an electrical connection. In here, there's actually nothing in here, so we just ask you to not use this. It just goes to underneath the sink, so it's just not really a usable area. And then we go to the inside here. So on this handle here, the way these work is you push them up and then you can swivel them. So it's kind of nice. You can put them against the door when you're traveling, just in case for some reason it does come open. This is going to hold it, but it's just designed to be a handle. Just don't crank on this. You will break it if you twist it too much. So just be mindful if you've got kids or whatever. You might want to just leave this closed so they don't try and hang on it or make a jungle gym out of it. And then as we go inside the trailer, the first thing I'll show you are these really cool steps. So when you go in here, these steps will be up like this. So that's what it will look like. There's this blue handle here that disengages them and you can slide them forward. And then to get a level, so it depends on how level the ground is. Like you can't tell on this, but this is kind of unlevel. So this side over here is higher than this side. So what you do is this side maybe only will be to here, and then this side would actually, you'd want to extend this, and you can extend it by pushing this button here, and then you can pull this up or push it down. So you can kind of adjust it for however the ground is. So again, pull that tab, we're gonna let it down here. And so you can see like this side kind of wobbly, so I'd actually extend that arm and then it would make it more stable. So that's how that works there. And then you do have a screen door here, so you can unlatch that. Really nice if you want a breeze to come through or something like that. All right, let's go on the inside and check that out. Okay, on the inside of this trailer, we're going to start at the front and work our way to the back. So up front here, you do have a privacy queen bed room. So this is a queen bed here. You've got plenty of storage area. Got some couple mirrors. Down here, you've got some USB connections. You have 120 volt, which again, that's only going to work off an electricity connection, like at a campground or a generator. You can disregard this. This is a connection for a Bluetooth speaker. It doesn't come with the trailer, so that's what that is. If you're wondering, there's a couple lights back there where you push the button in the middle, and that's how those work. There are two doors, one on each side. You unlatch the door here, and then this will slide over, creating some privacy in this area, so it's really nice. Up front here, you've got your radio. So this is how your radio works. It can connect to Bluetooth. The speakers on the inside and the outside are driven off of this. So that's the radio there. There's some space here. Kind of nice space down here where you can put your shoes. This is an electric heater, so it's only going to work off of 120 volts, like if you're plugged in. And then your how you operate it is here. So you've got all your buttons that basically you turn it on and off. You can select the heat setting, high, medium, and low. You can change, it has a color on it because it's just a fake fireplace. So that's how you select those modes there. Again, that will only work off 120 volt battery power. Over here, you have your control panel. This is motion activated, so it lights up when you walk by it. Up here at top, you will see the levels of your tank. So fresh water, saying it's empty. Black water is empty, gray water is empty. Black water is your sewer, which is your toilet. Gray water is your sink and your showers. So one thing to note about black water, and sometimes gray water, but mostly black water, is that debris can get stuck on the sensors, and so it might read like 2/3 full when it's really empty. So they're not really great sensors, so just note that that if you picked it up like it's empty and then you went for a day and it says it's 2/3 full, it's probably not. And then you have your battery percentage here. You also have the Bluetooth Connect, which this is for the backup camera on the back of the trailer. It's QR code. You'll scan that, download an app, and then you can connect your phone. Something that we can't support because it does involve third party like your phone. But if you can get that to work, it's really cool. You have your water pump here. So with the water pump, we recommend that you turn the water pump on, use the water you want to use, and then turn it off. Do not leave it on all the time. The reason why is because you could leave, a line could break, and it's just going to keep pumping water and flood the trailer. So turn it on, use the water feature, turn it off. And then here you've got your light. So awning light, exterior light, living room lights here. Any other lights that don't light with this button will just light off of the button in the middle. Like that. You've got accent lights. So again, those are all your lights that work off of these switches. You've got a 12 volt awning, so it will retract and extend here. And remember with the awning that you want to retract at any time that you're not around, or if there's any wind or anything like that, you want to make sure this is retracted. The slide in or out, so that's the slide here for the little dining area. So that's how you get that in and out. Again, these run off of the battery. Do have a nice slide area here, kitchen. So this can be made down into a bed. what you do is that you take this off, and there's actually Velcro on the bottom here on each side. You can see over there, and then there's Velcro right here. So these legs come off right here, so you just take these off. Just be gentle with it. Pull it up, take it off, and then you put this top here down on these rails right here. Again, the Velcro matches up. And then you move these couch cushions around, so then it creates a bed. So this can turn into a bed really easily. Got some space down here. You got your kitchen area, so big sink with a faucet. This right here, there's nothing in this, so this is not going to work. It's just a dispenser for like soap or something, but there's not going to be any soap in it. Right here you do have your oven and your stove top. When you get it, this glass here will be down. The first thing you want to do before you light it is make sure that it is up, so you don't light it while it is with the glass like that. And one thing that's really easy to do on a trailer, or kind of a pro tip, is that you want to light the stove first before you try and light any other propane items. What it will do is it will start the flow of the propane, so it'll make the other propane items easier to start, like your heater, for example. So what you'll do with this one, so these 3 knobs are for the 3 burners up here, and this one is for the oven. So you will turn this to high to have propane start flowing, and then you only turn this to the right. If you turn it to the left, it will break. So turn it to the right. The propane isn't connected, so it's not going to start, but that's how you start it. And then you set it to, you know, whatever temperature you want there. Again, the oven works similarly. What you do is you turn it to this flame, and you push this in. It's a button. So you hold this in for like 30 seconds. You're waiting for the propane to work its way through the lines. And then you do need 2 hands for this, but you continue to hold this in, and then you spark it. So what you will see is down here is the burner, and then the sparker's way back in that back. So you can see it when it sparks, but you're waiting for this burner to light. So again, you'll hold this down for like 30 seconds. You'll try and spark it. If it's not lighting, you continue to hold it down for like another 10 seconds. Try and light it. Just try and do that every 10 seconds. So that's how that oven works. Your heater vent is right here and right here. It works out of a thermostat, and I'll show you that later. Your microwave works like any other microwave, so it's pretty straightforward, but will only work off of a generator or electrical plug-in. And then you've got your range hood with a fan or a light here. Over here you've got a 12-volt DC fridge. These are really nice fridges. You've got a freezer on top, and you've got a fridge on bottom here. So up here you have your freezer controls. This is actually a baffle is what it is. So I would recommend just leaving it in the middle. If you do want to go to a cooler, you can. I would not go all the way. Just the middle makes the most sense. Down here is your on-off switch. So we do recommend that you set it on 3, maybe 4. If you really want to. 5, what will happen is if you have it on 5, it will get so cold, it'll eventually freeze the fan, and it will just stop working. It'll either turn off, and I'll show you what it's like if it turns off, or it will just only blow like warm air. So just again, just set it on 3, and in the middle, just set it on the middle modes there. So this is what it looks like when it's off. So this set button is blinking right now. And you probably can't see it on the video, but it says on, off, hold 10 seconds. So that's how that works there. So again, to turn it on, you just hold this down for 10 seconds, and then it will turn on. When you're putting food in here, make sure it's already cold or frozen. Don't fill this up with a bunch of warm pop. It's never going to cool down. It just doesn't have the capacity for that, even though these do work really well. So again, held it down for 10 seconds. Now it turns on. It's on setting 3. We're just going to leave it there and let it cool down. It's going to take many hours for this to cool down. So again, be patient with it. Only put cold or frozen items in here. And just depending on how hot it is outside can kind of depend on how long it's going to take to cool down. But it's going to take a while. Going over here, we've got your thermostat, and remember, this is a thermostat, not a temperature gauge. So you got your mode on the bottom, you've got your temperature selections on top here. So mode, as you go through them, you've got your fan settings, then you've got your cool, which is the AC settings, and then you've got your heat. And then, for example, if I want to set my heat, then I'll use the buttons, say 72 degrees. And again, just set it to the desired temperature. Don't crank it up to 90 degrees. It's not going to heat up faster. It'll just eventually get so hot it'll trip the furnace. So again, if I want to do the AC here, I go to cool, go to maybe like high auto, and then I set the settings there. And with the AC, just be reasonable with the temperature that you're trying to set. Again, these aren't massive AC units. And if you're parked in the sun in a really hot area, then it's not going to take you from 120 degrees down to like 60. So you might be able to get down to like 80, for example. If you leave them on too long, they will eventually freeze. So they're not designed to run constantly for days at a time. You do need to turn them off, let them kind of thaw out or whatever. But again, just remember that that is the case with these, is that you just need to be reasonable about the temperature you're setting, what your setting is if you're in shade, something like that, and what's going on the outside of the trailer too. You do have down here, there is your fuse box here, so you push this in, it will pop out, and then you've got all your fuses and your breakers in case one of those needs to be replaced or reset. This is a battery disconnect. So if you turn this way, you see how this went off? It's because I just disconnected the batteries. Nothing in the trailer is going to work at that point. So just in case like your kid or something disconnected that and nothing's working, then just check that first. There's another heater vent. For the AC, there are, coming out here, but it also comes out in the roof here, over there, and over there. You do have your bunks here, so big bunks. You've got a ladder that you can extend and walk up, and then down here, that's your propane leak and carbon monoxide sensor there. So that will go off also if you cover it. So do not put anything in this area, like don't cover it up. It'll also go off if you spray aerosol around it. So just know that it'll go off if you do those things too. So just keep that clear and air flowing through it. Got some storage down here underneath the bunk too. So the bathroom here, we've got your sink and your vanity area, you got your toilet. One thing to note about the toilet is that unfortunately all trailers, and it's not just this trailer, they can clog pretty easily. So just make sure that you flush them thoroughly. If it's completely backed up and clogged, you haven't filled the black tank, you just clogged the toilet. I know it sounds gross, but the only way to clear that is you basically have to get a stick and push it down and dump a bunch of water on top of it. But that's how you clear those clogs. You've got your shower, small tub area, and then you've got your hot water heater here. It is an on-demand hot water heater, so you have your on-off button. We recommend that you set it to 110 to 115 degrees. If you go any hotter than that, you're just going to have to mix it with cold water to make it bearable. So it's best to just kind of stay around that setting there. You can switch it to Celsius here. So Fahrenheit and Celsius, and then the temperature there. So pretty simple. If you want to turn it, then turn it off there. On this, so what happens is if the temperature on the outside of the trailer drops below freezing point, then what it will do is it will try and light. But if, for example, you have the propane off, then it's not going to be able to light, and it will give an error code. Usually it's E1. And this will beep, and it will say E1. The only way to clear that is the switch on the hot water heater itself. So you go out to the hot water heater, you open it up, and then you turn it off and turn it back on, and that will clear it. Make sure that the propane's on and flowing so that when it does try and light again, it doesn't give you that same error. But that's how you clear the error codes if you get those. But anyways, it's an on-demand hot water heater. Again, you'll just turn the hot water and it will start coming out. There will be a delay though. It's going to take a little while for that hot water to get over here. So just know that there is that delay. And so what I recommend for a shower or for using any water, because you can go through the water very quickly if you aren't paying attention. So what you should do with showers is that you get in, you get wet, and then you turn it off, and then you lather up, you rinse off, and then you're done. So don't try and take a shower like you shower at home, and that will be a lot faster, or will save a lot more water that way, doing faster showers. So again, that's a walkthrough of this trailer. It's a really nice trailer, great for families, gives you plenty of space, really easy to tow. Again, thank you for renting from Jackson Hole Adventure Rentals, and I hope you enjoy your vacation.